Hello everyone and welcome to the What If League. Today's episode is something new that I'm trying. I am running a scenario where a top coach is going to take charge of Sunderland. I'm not sure if you're aware, but Sunderland are in a bit of trouble lately. They are placed 22nd and in the relegation zone in the championship. And also they have been in a bad streak for several years now. So I wanted to see if the problem was poor choice of managers or is there something else there that is causing the poor results. So I have decided to get Mourinho to face a new challenge. So he has left Manchester United and he has joined the North England club Sunderland. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fast forward until the end of this season to see how do they perform. This is very surprising, but José Mourinho has been sacked after just 105 days in charge of Sunderland. You see, at the 7th of May, he was sacked, and that's really odd because he managed to get them out of the relegation zone. As you can see, they have finished 18th, which is quite significant, 13 points above the last team in the relegation zone, Bolton. What I am going to do right now, because I am stubborn, I am going to rehire him at Sunderland, and I am going to fast forward 3 more years into the future to see maybe they get along better in the second time. Here we are, 2nd of June 2021, and Jose Mourinho has been sacked a second time. This is really starting to look just like his Chelsea experience, but without the trophies and any positive experiences, I guess, from his side. This time he was in charge for almost 2 years, but they still fired him on the 18th of May 2020. So let's have a look what happened in those seasons and why did he get fired. I'm really not getting this. Maybe somebody who has more experience in the game would be able to explain. Let's see. The first season, as we already noted, they finished 18th. In the second season, they qualified for the Premier League after finishing fourth. Let's see what happened in the playoffs. In the playoffs, they eliminated Middlesbrough, and afterwards in the final, they beat Hull City at Wembley. This is very, very interesting. Let's see then what happened in the Premier League. All right, they were relegated, finishing 19th on points with the last team, West Brom. Only one goal better and 17 points behind 17th placed Bournemouth that were safe. So apparently that was the reason why Mourinho was fired. All right, apparently Mourinho is not the guy to lead Sunderland to anything but relegations. So I am going to test something else. I'm going to go back to the 22nd of January 2018 and I'm going to put Carlo Ancelotti in charge of the Black Cats and see what happens there. Actually, to save you some time, I am going to fast forward directly with Carlo Ancelotti in charge until the end of the first season 2018 and see what happens. Here we are, 2nd of June 2018, and Sunderland have sacked Carlo Ancelotti at the exact same time when they sacked Jose Mourinho. I guess this is after the season, and they were not happy apparently with his services. Although I see that he also managed to keep them safe in the championship. They finished 19th, which means that they were far away from relegation. Indeed, 11 points above relegated Millwall. So I'm going to repeat the same scenario. I'm going to rehire Carlo Ancelotti and then fast forward 3 years into the future and show you guys what has happened. Here we are, year is 2021, and we see that Carlo Ancelotti did not manage to be much more successful than Jose Mourinho. Actually he was not sacked. He left his head coach role after 2 years and 28 days, which means this is after the end of season 2019-2020. This case, he was not sacked, which is something to be proud of, I guess. But let's see what happened during his charge. So first season they finished 19th, as we already saw. Next season they were 7th, so beneath the places, giving them the option to play in the playoffs and qualify for the Premier League. Unfortunately, actually they were quite far, 8 points behind Wolves. Then in the next season, they managed to finish fourth, which gave them a place in the playoffs. Let's see what happened there. They lost to Reading. And did Reading eventually qualify for the Premier League? No, Huddersfield did. So that was a bit of a heartbreak for the Tyneside team. Let's see. Without Ancelotti, however, in the last season they were fourth again, not being able to go through the playoffs. All right. Mourinho and Ancelotti failed. Let's try Thomas Tuchel, the ex-Borussia Dortmund manager, and see what happens then. I'm going to now load a new game, hire Thomas Tuchel as manager of Sunderland, and fast forward until the end of season 2018. Here we are, again, 2nd of June 2018. Thomas Tuchel followed the same fate as Mourinho and Ancelotti. He was sacked at the 7th of May after 105 days in charge of the Black Cats, but he was the most successful out of them three in his first year. Mourinho managed to finish 18th, Ancelotti 19th, while Tuchel was 15th. You can see that he's 12 points above Millwall that got relegated. So good on Tuchel, although he got sacked. And to be fair, I'm going to replicate the same process. I'm going to rehire him, fast forward 3 more years, and see what happens. All right. Apparently there is a pattern here. 2nd of June 2021, and Thomas Tuchel has been sacked on the 18th of May 2020 after close to 2 years. So this is, I think, exactly the same period when Mourinho was sacked. So let's see what happened with Tuchel in charge of the Black Cats. First, let's go to the first season. He was 15th. Then the next season, they were champions of the championship, which means that they were qualified for the Premier League. Then what happened in the Premier League? They got relegated, finishing last at the 20th place, 4 points behind 19th West Brom, and 8 points behind Swansea, that were the last team that managed to get to safety. Unfortunately, that was probably the reason he got fired. And three top managers did not manage to get past the Sunderland board of directors. Let's try another one. Let's try Luis Enrique, the ex-Barcelona head coach. So I'm going to follow the same process, hire Luis Enrique, then fast forward until the end of the first season and show you guys what happened. Guess what? Luis Enrique was fired on the 7th of May, just like the three guys before him. But this time I just wanted to go ahead and rehire him immediately so that we can see it on the screen here. Sunderland finished 19th in the championship, so he made the same result as Carlo Ancelotti, worse than Mourinho and Tuchel. And now that I have rehired him, I'm going to fast forward 3 more years into the future. Sorry, and see if maybe he managed to escape the curse. We are at the 2nd of June 2021, and it's a miracle. Luis Enrique is still the head coach of Sunderland. This is the first guy that did not manage to get fired or leave his leave his role at the Black Cats. So Luis Enrique is still leading Sunderland at the Stadium of Light. They're currently in the championship, fifth placed. Let's see what happened in the previous seasons. I'm very, very intrigued to understand what happened with Luis Enrique. First season, as we already saw, they finished 19th. Then in the next season, they did not manage to get through the playoffs. Let's see what happened in the playoffs that year. So in the semifinals, they eliminated Reading. If you remember previously, Reading eliminated Sunderland already. I think it was with Carlo Ancelotti in charge. Then in the final, they lost to Hull City. Well, that's unfortunate. Now let's go back to the league table. Then in the next season, they finished sixth, which means that they were eliminated in the playoffs again. This time they beat Huddersfield in the semis, and in the final they lost to Reading. So they got their revenge, I guess, which is unfortunate for Luis Enrique. Now in the final season, they finished fifth and they won the playoffs. So in the semi-final, they eliminated Huddersfield, who apparently got relegated from the Premier League, and then they eliminated Aston Villa in the final at Wembley. So next year they're going to challenge in the Premier League. Now this has got me very intrigued. So what I'm going to do, I am going to fast forward 3 more years into the future and see how do they perform then. Surprise, surprise, Luis Enrique has been sacked. This time the year is 2022, and he was sacked on the 16th of May after the end of that season. So this is precisely the next season in the Premier League. I imagine that they were relegated, and that was the reason he got the boot. So let me just quickly have a look. We need to go to the Premier League and see what happened there. Sorry. So we are now in the Premier League, and if we go to the to. That season, Sunderland were last 20th, and they only managed to gather 15 points, which is the poorest performance of all the managers so far that managed to get to the Premier League. Of course, they were how many is that? It's 18 points behind 17th placed Wolves, which could have secured them safety and to remain in the Premier League. That's very unfortunate. What I want to see are the transfers of that team. So let's go to the very beginning. In his first season, Luis Enrique did not buy anybody. Then there were some transfers. Stefan Johansen from Fulham, Stephen Ireland from Stoke was purchased, and Thomas Agyepong. I'm not familiar with that name. 28-year-old Ghanaian. Where is he coming from? NAC Breda, so the Dutch league, and before that he played for Manchester City. Interesting. Niki Manpai, I guess this is a Finnish player, but he has already retired, I imagine. That's why I cannot click on him. On the other side, we see that Fabio Borini has been sold to Milan and Lamine Kone joined Leicester. In general, they made a hefty profit there. Next year, what happened there? Chris Martin has been purchased from Derby County for 1.6 million. That's fair. Paddy McNair has been sold to Everton for 6.75, and Jason Steele joined Leeds for 1.3 million. So again, very good, very healthy profits. Season after that, again, if you compare the total spent versus total received, you can see that Sunderland are a profitable team, although they keep changing managers, but that's fine. We can see they bought Rolando Arens from Newcastle, Johnny Williams from Swansea, Gaetan Bonk from Sheffield Wednesday, and Louis Graban from Crystal Palace. On the other side, they sold Lee Cattermole to Queen's Park Rangers and Didier Ndong to Swansea. Now let's see the next year, and I think this is the season when Luis Enrique was fired. So we can see here a lot of purchases for them to prepare for the Premier League, but I imagine this was not nearly enough for them to be safe in the Premier League and survive that season. I'm not sure I want to hire any more managers at Sunderland just to see them sacked. So guys, if you think of somebody that could do the job better than those four, please let me know in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to try it out and then upload it for you to judge what happened. So thank you everybody for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe or follow my channel if you haven't already. That way you're going to receive notifications for when I upload new videos. In the meantime, you can also check out my social media. It's all in the description. Let me know what you guys think of this experiment. This one in particular, I think, was quite interesting how it panned out, and I would love to talk it over with you in the comments or in the Discord chat. So once again, thank you everyone for watching. Until the next time, bye.